Hello, everyone listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube. This is another episode of NRG Insights. And for those that don't know, NRG Insights is a mortgage and specialist lending related podcast where we speak to industry leaders and influential people in the market, just get their insights and any valuable information they can kind of get across. So today on that, I've got Colin Horton joining me. Thanks for joining me, Colin.
No worries, mate.
So do you want to just start with, tell us about what you do? I've never had anyone from your side of the market on before, actually. So tell us about what you do and how you got to where you are in your journey.
Yeah, cool. So firstly, mate, again, thanks for having me on there. You're brave having a valuer on the podcast.
You don't know what I'm going to ask you. I'll just snag you off.
Probably switch off now. But yeah, so I'm a valuation surveyor by trade. I actually learnt my trade in leasehold enfranchisement. Was my game. Worked in asset management for 10 years and decided to set up my own firm. One went not so good, but one went really well, and that's what I'm talking to you about today. And I've got 3 business partners and run a company called Projects & Co. And we're not like your stereotypical valuers, we're just a multi-discipline firm. So the actual valuation side of our business is actually only about a third of the actual whole business, which makes our PI a bit easier when it comes to getting that done. But I was I'm going to use the word victim. I was a victim of numerous down values on our own private investment stuff, and I just thought this got to be done better than what it's done now. I think valuers are rightly or wrongly emotionless sometimes, and I mean I've seen more empathy from a dictator sometimes. They just don't seem to think about the actual repercussions of sometimes a deal where maybe it's not like don't get me wrong, there are some deals out there
you've got to value it what the legitimate. Right?
You completely de-risk it, but there are a lot of time when there's a deal come through and in your heart of hearts it's absolutely fine, but because you're worried about your PI or your boss getting on your back, they're going to go and take a more negative stance. And we were just seeing stuff come through, and it was one that happened on a personal property of mine that I was selling. And obviously when it's your own property and you're selling, that down value was a huge amount of money. Like I think it was 50 grand, and imagine trying to just save 50 grand, let alone like it's not an easy thing to do in today's world. And really long story, but ended up inspiring me. It's like, you know what, we can go and do this better. So we went all out and hired really, really, really good valuers, really good admin, and I networked my arse off, meeting and greeting people, and I love it, mate. Everyone in the lending world that I've dealt with or that wants to deal with me are generally good people, really good vibes. They know what they're doing, they're smart, and they don't generally, the ones that I know don't, haven't got to stick up their arse. They're good people. They're good people, mate. And I think for me, it's I'm very lucky to be in that sector and doing what I'm doing. But I'm sure I'm ruffling a few feathers. But
we'll go through the ruffling the feathers side of things as well. But how do you combat it? Because obviously you're working for the lender, right? You want to make sure you got to make sure that there's no risk on their money. You're also speaking to brokers who are coming up with their kind of comparisons. Everyone's an expert valuer when it comes to their own the mortgages that they're looking at or the properties that they're looking at. Do you a constant battle, especially at the moment, or is it are you finding a happy medium?
I mean, yeah, mate. I mean, it's really tricky because you are trying to balance. You're balancing obviously your lender who you're a priority. You've got to de-risk it for them.
Absolutely.
Of course you have. But then what will happen is you have relationships with a lot of the BDMs, and the BDMs obviously trying to get their deals through, and you're trying to manage their expectations, and you're also trying to manage the brokers' expectations, because a lot of time the work will come by networking with the brokers, and the brokers will ask for you to be on the thing. So it is hard.
Especially if you want to win the business as well, right? So you're
100%, mate. And then you hear the horror stories of like, they've been kicked off panel because they keep down values, they keep down valuing stuff. Like, it's really hard to try and navigate.
There's no set, because it's a bit subjective valuations, right? In the sense that
it's an art. It's an art form, mate. Yeah. Well, I think we could probably go and value 100 properties, me and you, and I reckon we'd probably get 99 of them different numbers. Do you know what I mean? And we've both been in the game for a long time. I know, be miles off, but I mean, it is hard, but it's all about communication. So one thing I found, and it based on my own experiences, is the frustration when you can't talk to the valuer.
Well, I hear that from
It's
brokers when they
huge.
go, I've sent over 10 comparisons, it all makes sense, and they just go, no, and there's no real rhyme or reason to it. So do you think, is that the kind of the game changing bit where you're just going,
That's where we're trying to get in. Don't get me wrong. You should never admit you've done. You shouldn't be
yeah, yeah,
wrong, but we will always consider evidence if it's put forward to us. So what we like to do is we like to, when we've done, just before we've done our report, we like to speak to the lender, talk it through with them, just to make sure we haven't missed anything
yeah,
out, because obviously the GDVs that are put forward by the applicant have come from somewhere.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? They're not just plucked out of thin air. I mean,
a
some are,
lot
but
more.
generally there's yeah. I mean, some are nuts, but there's logic there. So it's just finding out how they got there and why they got there, and then that ultimately just having that communication, just talking through the deal with the lender, just goes such a long way, and it just helps them. Then when they go back to the broker,
Yeah,
it's a little bit easier for them, and it makes their life easier. I don't want them getting
yeah, yeah.
grief. I don't mind getting grief because
Do
it's
you get that? Do you get the
ultimately
brokers
my job.
bypassing and coming to you because you're a face in the industry, right? Does that mean you'll get people going, "Oh, well done on this one the other day. Well done, that one was a bit tough."
You will do, mate. Yeah, you will do. Like you'll get, thanks, thanks for that, and there's that. It was sometimes thanks. Like, if I've done something I shouldn't have done.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean?
value
Like,
in a
I've
property.
just done my job and valued it up.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It is hard. And I do come from I'm fresh out of Essex. I'm not one of these silver spoon
Yeah.
surveyors out there. I do look at things a bit more
I saw the
logically.
saddles on your
And
dartboard earlier on the. When you were
oh yeah, no, fuck them. No, don't mean that. But no, but I look up to those guys,
yeah, yeah.
mate. Like I was with one of my biggest rivals yesterday, just having a chat, and I was like, look, mate, I really look up to what you guys do. Like you're who the hell do I think I am trying to compete with you that's been
But why
going for
not?
10 years? And there's like I know, but they said to me, it's like, it's weird that you say you look up to us because we talk about you all the time in the office.
Do you
And I'm
think that
like,
like you're a bit of a thorn in the side of like the traditional, suited booted? I'm not going to use the right terminology now, but you know what I mean. The old boy club. Do you think it's like a bit of a?
yeah,
If
I
they're talking about it,
think
it's a
so,
good
mate.
thing,
I
right?
mean, yeah, I like to be a little form. I want to get on with them, mate. I've never had a fight in my life, mate. Like I'm so tranquil, but you do have to make, when you've got a limited budget at the start and you don't have the experience that all these other guys have, and you don't have the money that all the other guys have. How on earth do you kind
Compete,
of
yeah.
get in front of people? And you do that by making a name for yourself, putting yourself out there, and of course you're going to get some haters out there. But people only really hate on people that are doing things that they're too scared
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
themselves. And I think that's what I found. Like I never get any secure guys coming up to me
I
and
was going to say, do you
slagging
ever
me
get
off or
any
anything
like
like that.
super successful people that come up and go, "Oh, I think what you're doing is shit." Like, I don't think it happens
No,
because they're too
no,
busy being successful.
no. I never get that, mate. The only thing I get is like, I don't know how you do it. It's not for me, but you're also obviously working, and that's probably as dig as it's going to get from
Yeah, yeah.
someone.
And that's a genuine
But
thing
I've
as well,
tended to
right? Because
found,
it is
mate.
tough. I think people think it's natural. I don't know. We'll talk about this, but it is hard to put yourself out there because you put yourself out to be shot down. You know, that's the.
Oh, 100%, mate. I mean, I'm an insecure little chap, mate. Like, I'm like, he goes to the gym, tattoos, like the stereotypical, like,
Yeah,
insecure
yeah,
geezer,
yeah,
right? But I like the validation, so I don't mind putting myself out
yeah,
there so much. But when you do get a comment, like, I'll often get comments about, because I do have tattoos and stuff, and I don't, people shouldn't judge you for that. But there'll be people like, oh, his image, though, it's not really what we want. And we had that from a pension fund
really.
once. And I was like, and then we ended up working for him 2 years later. And I think it's just trying
I'd
to
like to think
change.
that
Because I
is.
think
I like to think that
sometimes
is changing as well, right? That
I hope so, mate. I do. I think my biggest insecurity is sometimes my accent. Like I think people will just assume that you're thick because you're from Essex. Like where I think I was Nick from Glenhawk. I was talking to him yesterday about it, and like we just because we don't sound like everyone else does't mean we're less
no, no.
smart.
And again, I think that is changing as well. I think you see it less and less, hopefully. But we work. We still work in that city, right, where it's it's posh
yeah.
voices and big knots and ties and stuff. So, but again, I do hear it changing. People understand now, right? That it's not about the school you went to. Um,
Oh, 100%. I mean, I don't mind sitting on a table. I've got a lot of mates, mate, pinky ring
mm,
guys. Like, if I need to, I'm more than happy to
yeah,
be
yeah.
in that
We
world. I
adapt. Yeah.
like that world. I've got a good posh voice. I can put it on.
You have not got
But
a posh voice.
I think they like
You
it.
haven't got it.
No, I can. It's
Is
my phone voice. I'm
it?
like, oh hi, it's Colin here. How can I help? You know, good to see you. And but I like to think they go home and like tell their mates. They're like, oh, I met a poor boy today from
You know what?
Essex. They're very
I always
sweet.
think my voice is quite. I always put it on. I always think it's quite posh. And then someone said to me the other day, he picked up the phone, he goes, "Hello, mate." Like I'm a Cockney Barrow boy. He was taking the piss at me. I was like, "That's my best voice. How could you do that?"
Where are you from? Where's your
Southampton or
accent?
Portsmouth originally. So
Oh, nice.
I've got
Oh,
rid
I
of
was
the
a
past the
pumpy uni
Cockney
boy, mate.
out of my accent and started to sound more like a farmer.
Yeah, it's a nice little twang. It's
Yeah.
nice, mate. Nice
Thank you
accent.
very
I'm in
much.
for it.
So let's go on to that the hater side of things, because we talked about this the other day, right? Didn't I? And about how you deal with it. And I don't tend to get it right. I'm not controversial. I talk about the industry. This is what I think.
Yeah, but you're also massive, mate. No one's gonna come up to you and say anything.
That helps. Be it looking harder than you are is a massive advantage.
Yeah.
You know? But genuinely, I don't think I don't put myself out there that much. I just talk about what people are talking about in the industry. But you do, and you're happy
Yeah.
to, and you do it with the prop party stuff that we'll go through as well. But does it get to you or not? As you just think,
It's weird, mate, because you can have 1,000 lovely comments, that one comment, and you'll just think about that. And there was this one, I always reference it. I was at Polo in the park, and this guy comes up to me, like, yay high on me,
yeah,
like, and I never met the guy. And he just comes up to me and just goes, "Your LinkedIn shit, mate."
cheers,
And
buddy.
I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Mate, I'm just here to have a good time and like look at people
What
and
just go?
horses." Like,
What
do
do
you
you
know what I
want
mean?
from
I
this?
just
What
want.
do you want from this interaction? But
And he's like, "You think you're so great?" I was like, "Mate, I really don't." Like, if you actually read the
that's
posts
the
for
other thing as
starters,
well.
like
Like
they're very
you constantly
self-deprecating.
take the piss out of yourself, right? It's self-deprecating stuff. But if people are half reading stuff, they'll go, "Oh, he's full of himself." But actually, look at your material isn't about being full of yourself. It's you take the piss all the time.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm a very like. If you don't know me, I wouldn't like me because I'm an idiot on LinkedIn. Do you know what I mean? I get it. Anyway, this guy, mate, he just kept going on at me. And then it went about 3 or 4 hours. He just went away. And then we were in a bar later on. He comes up to me again. And he goes, "I'm better looking than you." And I was like,
Good.
"All right, mate. Cool. Good for you, mate. I'm really happy. You're a good looking lad." And it just really stuck with me. And then it was around the same time that someone else was talking about me at an event who'd never met me and was just slagging me off.
So weird, isn't it?
And then I ended up meeting him at this event as well. And he like grovelling apologies to me. Because I went up and said, "Why are you slagging
Yeah,
me
yeah.
off?" Like, not in a
No. Just
confrontational
I'm
way. Just
interested
like,
in
oh, like,
where
yeah,
you've
I
got
just
that
like,
from.
"Mate,
Yeah.
why are you slagging me off for?" And he's like, "I just don't know why you do what you do, blah, 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 blah." But now this geezer posts all the bloody time on LinkedIn. And it's just, like, so it does hurt, and I can't say it doesn't hurt, because I'm only
Yeah.
human. But doing what I do and how I post, I have to accept the fact that that's going to...
And it generates
And if,
revenue,
if you're
right?
not
I
getting
mean,
hated, you're probably not
I
doing
think
something
this is
right.
what people don't
Huh?
seem to understand. It's not that you like the sound of your own voice; it generates revenue. It generates interest.
Mate, the whole business was built
Yeah,
off LinkedIn.
same as ours. 90% of our stuff is inbound
Yeah.
because of the hard work we put on the other side. So why on earth?
Yeah.
Well, my mates are the only ones that are allowed to take the piss, right? Because they grow up with them and they take them in because they don't get it, and that's cool. They're not part of that business. And I say to them, if someone gave you 10 quid every time you post 10 times a day, but you don't, you take the piss out of me. So
Yeah.
if you haven't built it that way, but at the same time, it's still daunting at the beginning because you put yourself out there and you just wait. And, like I posted for maybe a year before anyone even noticed. It takes a while.
That's what you've got to do that, mate. People, like you touched on a point there where people they don't know how to start and they'll start posting, they'll lose motivation because they're not getting 100 likes on a post because you have to keep going. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
got to keep doing it and doing it,
And
getting the
actually, the
followers.
ones that you add value to the most get the least amount of interaction. You do a stupid one, I get hundreds. I called my kid stick the other day and got 50,000 impressions. And then I try and add value to talk about what's happening in specialist lending. No one responds. But it will be that one person that sees that it resonates with, that actually makes a difference.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I've been told by other people is they might not like every post in terms of like physically like it, but you're there. You're at the top of their newsfeed every
Yeah.
single day. So when it does come to needing a valuer,
That's what
you're there,
I
and I think that's
it, innit?
that's
You've
what it
got to be
works.
omnipresent. You've just got to be in front of people all the time. And make no mistake, as big as a face you are on LinkedIn and in the industry, if you stop posting tomorrow, in 6 weeks' time, people forget who you are. Like it's constant, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a constant battle to keep yourself out there.
100%, mate. And I think me and yourself, like the guys that have been on it for a while now, I think LinkedIn's just going to evolve, and I think the people that are on it now are going to financially
Yeah,
benefit from it quite significantly in
yeah,
the
definitely.
future, just by nature of how social
Yeah,
media
and also like
works.
you're the only valuer that does it. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same thing. It's not that you're doing the same thing. Or I suppose I'm not in that world that much, but I'm surrounded by brokers and lenders, so I would think I'd see it. So there's not many people doing it the way you are. So that's always going to be advantageous, right? You're not doing the same thing.
Oh, 100%, mate. I think the video content will become more prevalent in time. At the moment, the algorithm doesn't particularly like
Your face, that's the trouble. Mine goes
videos.
off. It's really.
Nah.
So how is business? How's business for you? I mean, obviously. So how many people you got there now? You got you're good size now, aren't you? How's
25.
that? How's it going? How's building the business?
Horrible.
Yeah. It,
Horrible, mate.
no, you can't say that. We're going to put this on social media. That's how great and easy it is. No, but genuinely, it's tough, right?
Yeah, mate. It's every day. I must admit, the last few weeks have been hard for me. Just like what day used to be a great day is now just about getting by for us in terms of the
Yeah.
amount of staff we have to do. So we need to bring in well at least 200 grand a month for work
Mm-hmm.
to have it generate enough profit to make the company worth
Yeah, yeah.
doing, cover all the overheads, etc. With an average transaction value of
A
£1,000,
lot of
right?
transactions.
That's 200 sales
Yeah, yeah,
fundamentally you've got to
yeah.
do that month, and I'm the only BDM in the company,
How do you find that
so
pressure? Because
it's a lot. I hate
I love it.
well,
At the same time, I've got when it used to be just me and my family, I've got to feed. Now I've got to feed 8 other families now with the business I bring in. It's a different sort of pressure. But how do you get on with it? Does it push you?
it gets me down. I expect a lot from
Yeah,
people. Um, Maybe I shouldn't. We've got consultants that we'll use to help on certain
yeah.
BD stuff, but finding a BD is one thing. Finding one that's any good is a whole other kettle of fish.
Do your
And
valuers
it's just
are your valuers sort of BDs in themselves in the sense that can they just push you a little bit?
some are getting
Yeah,
there. They're getting there. We have this discussion in the office, like between the directors, as like, what should we expect of our surveyors? And I'm sure if they listen, they won't mind me saying this. I'm like, well, for me, BD is
yeah.
part of
Get a
the job.
referral. Yeah,
Yeah, like you get bonus for that if you bring it in. But like, if you want to become a director or maybe one day a shareholder, you've got to be able to win
yeah, yeah.
work and bring in business. And if you want
So
these,
it's
I
same as
mean,
like
the
a law
salaries
firm.
are
Do you know
big.
what I mean? If
Yeah.
you have to bring in, you have to generate revenue, don't you? If you want to move up the ladder.
If they don't want it, mate, then
Yeah,
that's fine. But that is what's hard. And I think some of my rivals that do well, their valuers do go out
yeah,
and they might not necessarily be the most charismatic people in the world, but they're still out and about
yeah, yeah.
doing stuff. And I think it's still well and good me winning the work. I still can do valuation work, but that's been the hardest bit that I've struggled with. But we've just spent a lot of money on 3 new valuers from your JLLs and your
Yeah.
Cushman Wakefields and your Savills. So we spent big money on surveyors coming in. And I've got to now win the
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
So it's still well and good bringing them in, but now I've got to go and find an extra like 80 grand a month of work. So
But
it's
that's the
not,
beauty. That's the beauty of
and
you
I
being the
think,
rainmaker, right? And I'd love to say I speak to businesses where it changes. It doesn't. One of our clients sold recently for a good whack in the millions. And I said, how did you get out of that owner rainmaker situation? They said we just never did. We just changed it on the
mm,
system.
yeah.
But that's the issue, isn't it? Is that you are the breadwinner, right? And that's you're the guy that brings in the
Yeah,
business.
I like the pressure in a
Yeah,
weird way, but there are sometimes like in my whole like family life, like my dad ain't around, so I look after my mum. I am in charge. I've got no one to
yeah.
fall back on, and then I've got no one to fall back
Hmm.
on at work. So like I have to put everything into it, which goes back to LinkedIn. Is like I do what I have to do because I'm having to feed, pardon my French, feed the whole fucking
Yeah, yeah.
family in more ways than one, and I've got no one else that will feed it for me, so I have to do it. So people can judge all they like, but it's easy to judge when you've got a trust fund. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Do you know what, actually, we talked about
if
this
you've
the other
never
day,
had your
didn't we? Because it
graft,
did resonate with me when we spoke about that pressure building up on your shoulders. Like this will hopefully resonate with people as well. But it's kind of a perverse, like it's enjoyable, isn't it? Like the pain of everyone relying on you is also weirdly something that keeps you going. And it's quite, I think I'd be bored if I was in a job where I just got paid. And I could be in a job where I earn more than I do now, 100%. I could go and work for someone
Yeah,
and
same here.
and be better off. But I'd be dead inside. I start swearing, but I think I'd
Yeah.
be, it'd kill a bit of my soul. Just like there's a thing about business owners or business writers that it is a weird perversion, but it's a weird feeling that you get that extra pressure kind of kicks you on, right?
Oh, mate, 100%. I completely resonate with that. It's really hard to explain to people when you're trying to tell them what's up, and you enjoy it. I was like, well, I'm moaning about it, but I do kind of enjoy it. It's a weird one, all right?
Yeah, that's
It's
like
like
if
a
you get
weird
enough
thing. I
weirdos in
don't
a
know.
room, they
Like,
all
leave
just
me alone.
agree, go, oh, good, we're all in the same boat then. Yeah, we're all weird and we all get it. But
Yeah.
it's true though, and people that listen to this will get it. They're business owners. They know the pressure of having to drive yourself every day, but that's also what gets them out of bed. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it.
100%.
So
100%.
what's next for you? And what are the plans? Like, obviously, we're all thinking the market's getting better 2025, right? We're all planning on that.
Yep.
We're all most of us have banked on it in regards to chucking as much money as we possibly can and growing before it happens. But what's the big plans for you? Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, great question, mate. I mean, we've invested in staff. Like, I think people forget that we've been in this. I've been doing valuing for like 15 years, so all the team. But in terms of us as an entity in the
Yeah.
market, been around for like 4 months, mate. So the company's been going for 5 years, but in terms of actual offering secured
Yeah.
lending work, 4 months,
Right.
right? So there's me trying to compete against these big boys, and we've done all the panels. So we've gotten all the panels now, and we're on a number of new big panels for really good
Yeah.
lenders now. Like arguably some of the biggest, as we know. So it's just now time to cultivate that. We're just going to consolidate this year in terms of start. There's the urge to go for it
Yeah.
nuts
Yeah.
this year in terms of hiring people, but we don't want to be one of those ones where your surveyors are just numbers. Our surveyors are part
Yeah.
of us. They're family, and I want to give them the best possible life that I can and good quality work. I don't want to overwork them. See how we get on the end of the year. Be nice to take some fat divvies,
Yeah.
which we lovely,
Isn't it?
of course. And then we're building to
Yeah.
sell, mate. And I'll be honest with you, if within 2 or 3 years we've got to a point where the company is in a position where we want it to be, and the right opportunity
You want
came,
it.
we'd give it the opportunity to staff first.
How'd you get
But
over that
then
problem then? That's a massive hurdle if you're looking to exit. Is that you're the
yeah,
business, right?
we'd be very clear and transparent with them about what was going on, and that part of any deal would be making sure the staff were
Yeah.
looked after. But I'd like them to really financially benefit from it
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well, mate. Like, I've got, despite what people might think, like I've got no qualm. I don't want to be the richest guy in the room, mate. I've got absolutely. If I win loads of money, I'll give it
Yeah.
all away. Like I'm an idiot. I'll probably end up back
Send
with
you my
nothing
address.
again. So I want all. Yeah. So I want our team to embrace it and enjoy the ride. But I need them to start thinking like a £10 million
Yeah.
company. If we aim for 10 and we get 5 or 6, which is still going to be really freaking difficult, then that's what
Yeah.
we're aiming for. But it's
Is
hard,
everyone in
mate,
on that
and
as
it's
well?
going to
Because you
be.
grow quite quickly. Do you get everyone to kind of buy into that vision of, look, this is where we're going? Because I think that vision piece is the biggest thing for staff retention. Well, it is in recruitment.
Oh, 100%, mate. Like, I'm the only one that's ever worked in a sales-based role
Yeah.
before in the whole company. So it's tricky trying to sell the dream sometimes. We started as a boutique firm, small, and obviously it's grown to 25 now, which is quite
Yeah. Yeah.
substantial in terms of a company. So it's hard to change processes and quality requirements and stuff. We've just spent a lot of money on software and an auditor, so making sure that our offering is
Yeah.
second to none. We didn't want to be losing out. Like the software we've just bought is now like some of our rivals don't do it because it's too
Yeah.
expensive. So we've gone for it because I want. It's all well and good winning work, but you
You'll be
win
the
a lot
best.
of work just by being really freaking
Yeah.
good. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. And if people don't want to buy into that, then that's fine. But then they'll get left behind on it. But I think the team we've got are great. There's it's been built on a really strong
Yeah.
admin core, which I think is vital. And I think it's this as long as everyone knows it's about communication and they just look after our clients. So it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
fundamentally
I
all we
love I
have to
love speaking
do.
to you as well
Just do a
because
good job.
it's so similar to what we're trying to build. Just looking after the customer, but just making sure everyone understands where we're going. Right? You want everyone to
Yeah,
be involved
100%, mate.
in the journey, like you say. You're not doing it. not doing it for money, right? I'm not going to work for free. At the same time, I love the journey bit. I love watching people's careers grow and being part of it, and that side of things as well. I think it's if you're just looking at the exit, it's tough, isn't it? You know, it's too hard
Yeah.
daily to look at an exit, but to build something that
Oh
good,
yeah. I mean, we'll probably super
yeah,
merge, which is what I think will
yeah,
happen. We will merge with one of our rivals and then
yeah.
sell. Is what I think will happen.
Because obviously they've got the problem
But
of when you're selling to look as valuable as you can is you're the face, right? You're the BD person. So
100%.
at some point that has to flip to going from business owner face to corporate entity to sell.
Which I've got this little itch in me, mate. It's a weird. You're probably gonna think I'm a bit weird,
I already
but
do. It's fine.
yeah, I've got like, I don't know. There's part of me that would love to see how I'd get on in like a massive
Yeah,
company that there's opportunities to be right up there. So if we did get bought out by
I'm
someone in the long
working on a
run,
board
and
level.
there was an opportunity, yeah, I'd like that. I think I'd enjoy that because I feel like I've got stuff to
It's
offer.
funny, isn't it? Because obviously the thing you're
And
building is not anti it, but just breaking the kind of the norm, and then potentially be in that, and then
go
see
back
what
in
it's
there.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
weird, mate. It's weird how things change, but I think I'd like to see corporate companies change a bit how they treat
yeah,
their
yeah.
staff,
Oh, you
and I think they
100% add
can do
value
really
from a small
simple things
business.
a lot
From a
easier.
small business perspective, you can add so much value into those because some of those guys are going up in corporate and they just think that's the way you do things, right?
Yeah, they've just never done. They've never worked in a small bit. They've never understood it. And having been through a company, yeah, gone through the sleepless nights, gone through all the stress, had shit bosses, had I've been there, done that. And I'm not the best boss, by any stretch of the
How have you?
imagination. I'm
Let's
not,
talk about that.
I
How
don't.
did you get on with that? Because none of us are born a boss, right? We didn't start a job to be a boss. We're very good at our jobs, and then you end up growing a company, and it's all kind of organic. How was
Yeah.
that like kind of learning curve as to being like a leader?
I lead by
Yeah,
doing. Is probably my main thing. Generous. I wouldn't say I lead by authority. I'm very laid back. I'm very trusting of people, so I'll always trust and give people the opportunity to shine, which I
yeah,
think
yeah.
is important. Not always the best way to do things because I think people should have to earn your trust before you just give it to them a lot of the
No, I think
time.
there's
But
something to be said for empowering people. That's one of again, that's one of those big reasons why people stay. You've mentioned a couple of things today that are just sort of off the cuff, but they're also in the top three things when it comes to retaining happy staff. So you're you're on the right path without even just because of the way you
oh, cool,
are.
thanks, mate.
Yeah, just not from a recruitment perspective. That's
Cool.
what people need. They do want that empowerment and trust. It goes a long way. That's actually higher than salary. Yeah,
Really. Oh, no, well, with the good people, it gives them
yeah, yeah.
fucking everything. If you give them the empowerment, I had a boss that gave me that empowerment when I was younger, and that meant everything. But I struggle with
Mhm.
confrontation. I'm not great with that. I'm not great at discipline by any stretch. I'm more of like a
Yeah,
disappointed
yeah.
kind of
I'm the
guy.
same. I'm a cheerleader, right? If you're
Uh,
doing well, I'm your man. I'm
yeah,
your motivator. I love cheerleading, but I'm not good at confrontation. Especially, I'm a big lump as well. Like I'm conscious of it. That you know what I
yeah,
mean. You don't want to. I'm quite blunt when I talk. So, or I talk the same as when I'm joking as if when I'm not. So, I'm always conscious
yeah.
of that. It's interesting. It's interesting the similar traits in regards to trying to be a good leader, but also there's lots to work on as well, right? And one of those things is
It's hard, man. And I'm generous, so I give stuff when I've got the money. Like it was a couple of Christmases ago, and there's a company I was involved with that is no longer around anymore. But we got a big payment came in. Instead of like trying to work out what's best for the company, I was fucking crazy. I'm just gonna give it all out. So I just gave it all out. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just like you, I know how when you work for someone and you have a job, all you think about is work, 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 work. You see your work colleagues more than you
Yeah,
see your
yeah.
missus. That's what you do. And I was like, oh, who the fuck are we to fucking make someone miserable just to make our lives a little bit better? Like we need
Yeah, yeah,
to
everybody's doing.
give these people something to look forward to and somewhere they feel safe. And so I'm not a great leader in terms of man to man
Hmm.
stuff, but I'm a good leader I believe in terms of inspiring by
Good.
doing and just being. I'm just a kind man. My mum is very religious. I have maybe too much
Yeah,
empathy in me,
nice trait. It's not a
but
worse trait to have empathy, especially
no, that's what they said last night at this high performance thing with the
Nanson.
Jake Humphreys,
Yeah, yeah.
the podcast, and they were like, what's the top trait that you see from all high flying entrepreneurs? Is like they're all
Yeah, they're
kind,
empathetic. They get it.
good people. And you might not think that because read other podcasts, you watch
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff, and you got to be
They're
ruthless, you
still
got to be
go-getters and all
savage. And I
that
was
stuff,
like,
aren't they? You know what I mean? They're still, you can be
yeah,
a good guy and go out and drive yourself and drive business and motivate, and you don't have to be a knobhead. They don't go around and around.
just be nice, mate. You never know when you're going to be
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your ass. You know, you never know when something might go tits up, and all the people you've been horrible to, they ain't going to be there for you. But all the people you've been kind to will
yeah.
be there for you. So that's how I see
Amen. I
life.
love it. So lastly, let's talk about the property. How did that come about? What was that a brainchild of? And
So it started about 8 years ago, mate. I'm going to go back
really,
a little bit, just for the concept of it. So I'd never met a posh person before in my
well,
life,
you have
right?
now.
And we were instructing Savills on a case in my old asset
Yeah,
management role, and I'm instructing these guys, right? So I'm
yeah,
in
yeah,
control of this situation, right? Go down to Mount Street, Mayfair, go to meet them. I'm top of my game at the time. Like, I'm doing really well in my leasehold career, and I couldn't talk. I was so nervous and so inferior. I felt in front of these guys just because
yeah,
they were
yeah.
posh. And I was like, I never want anyone to ever feel like that in their career when they're meeting someone. So I started hosting this thing called Leasehold, Young Leasehold
Mm-hmm.
Professionals, which was a networking group, and that was incredible for my career. It
Was
really
it?
kind of propelled me. That evolved into something called Leasehold Social because we didn't just want to be young; we
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
everyone of every age to come. And then it got to a point because COVID came and it didn't help us. You know, we were having like maybe 200 people at events. It was
yeah, yeah.
really good. COVID hit,
Yeah, of
fucked
course.
us. And I was due to go on television last year, and I was like, I've got kind of a great opportunity here to really grow my brand, like blow up my personal brand. And August, the show was out on the Tuesday. This event was on the Thursday. I had an ice sculpture of myself at this
I
event.
was telling the girls in the office about this, and I said, unless you've met Colin, you don't like. It's funny. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's tongue in cheek. You know, I don't think.
I'm glad people. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I
I
got a
know,
lot of
yeah, but
stick for
you
it,
will
but it
get
done
stick for
really
that. It just
well.
makes me laugh.
It was jokes, mate. And then I just wanted to start hosting events where people can just enjoy themselves. And I think everyone seems to assume work stuff has to have some kind of work
Hmm.
output. But I was finding that all my friends, I mean, all at home, they're all white kids and stuff, and it's hard
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see them. And I was like, my actual social life is at work
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And I don't want it to be every time that I see them, it's just about work. Like, that's not what I want. So I was like, I want to make an event that's fun and cool and like people want to go to, and I can make a bit
Yeah.
of money. So we had this thing on the boat, and we had about 350 people on the boat. Paid tickets, really good. Lost 15 grand, annoying. Probably because I spent 2 grand on an ice sculpture, but
That's
it doesn't
13
matter.
plus an ice head.
But it
Yeah.
it went off. Everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. Got us in with a couple of banks, like got us new
Nice.
clients. It paid for itself in terms of the company, but my own
Yeah,
personal
yeah,
income it didn't
yeah.
do so great. And then I realised what I was good at, which was sales and marketing and branding. And I was like, I need a partner in it. So one of my really good mates and really successful businessman brought him
Yeah.
on board. And we kind of turned it into like a company as such. So we had one at the Steelyard back in April. We had five, the
Yeah, it's cool.
bands
Yeah.
performing. And I'm just trying to make something where we have events that people look forward to in the
Hmm.
calendar, and they're like, it's one of Cole's events. You know, it's going to be a good event because I want to keep doing that. I enjoy it. It's great
Yeah,
for my
yeah.
brand. It's great for me. Great for
And
me
do you
to
know
meet
what? For me,
people.
those
So we've got
things are
one.
where we make, and it's not about business. It's not about generating revenue, but it's a non. There's no pressure at those places, right? So you end up working with these people because you like them, and working with people you like is amazing,
Yeah.
right? It's the best reason to go to work.
Oh, mate,
So actually,
dreamy.
I do more at like trade shows and awards events and just down the pub than I would if can I book in a meeting with you, because actually all it is, and you don't talk about your business, do you? You meet someone, they think, oh, that guy's not a dickhead. If I ever need recruitment, I'll work with him, and we've run our business like that, and those sort of parties are amazing for that sort of thing. Just meeting people where you go, I'd work with you, or
100%, mate. And you just like-minded. Everyone that's come to my event are like-minded anyway. They've got
yeah,
something about them. Generally, have turned up. So we got one at Christmas. the pro party, and we like doing trailers and stuff. So we released like a
I
full-on
showed my missus
office
the office one
documentary
last
thing.
night actually.
Because no one else is doing that, mate. No one
Do
else
you
is
know
having
what
a
she did?
laugh,
Do you know
having fun with
she watched the whole
advertising.
6 minutes and she went, "That's a bit like The Office," and I went, "It was literally the beginning bit was from The Office." I don't know if you can get that. No, good. She switched on.
But it's completely unscripted. That it was good. And then so we've got Boys Life at the next one. So which is one of Westlife and one of
Nice.
Boys Own. I like a
Yeah,
bit of
yeah.
cheese, mate.
I'm seeing a
And
connection
and
between
at
all these.
Christmas. Yeah, and if this one goes well, mate, we're gonna have a massive summer
Oh,
party with
nice.
Blue.
You keep promising
That
Blue. I got
yeah,
this
so
from the
that
advert. It's happening.
yeah, I really want Blue, mate. I was messaging Lee Ryan the other day. Do you know Mark, well, mate Mark at
Yeah.
MFS, and he knows Lee, so he gave me Lee's
Oh, yeah.
number. So I'm like texting Lee. I'm like texting fucking Lee from Blue. I was like, this is cool. But they wanted 40 grand, mate. 40 grand for 40 minutes.
Not bad. Not bad gig, is it?
Craig David, mate, 120
Yeah, but
grand
he's
he
up
wanted.
from Southampton, mate. So should have said something. He'll just pop around the corner. He's everyone here knows him. Everyone is
I
his
wanted,
cousin.
mate, one day, mate, if you can make that
I
happen,
know,
mate, that would be like the goals, mate.
Good stuff.
But that was, and that's that, mate. So we're going to grow that, and then I'm going to start moving that into, a little bit. I want to do a
Yeah,
lending event. I want to call it Lend, where we kind of have in the day you have the standard talkers and stuff, but a little bit more
yeah.
interesting
It's
than
got to be a bit
normal.
different, right?
And then little charity event, mate. And I just want to do a bit more like. I ain't got the money to do it, but a bit more like
Yeah,
philanthropic stuff. Like give back because like I might
yeah.
die tomorrow, so I'd rather just if I can help raise some money for charity, then I
Nice.
will and just do that.
Good. That's
And
that,
that's that, mate.
and it's all for the right reasons as well. I genuinely like talking to you. I think you're doing everything for
Thanks, mate.
the right way, and hopefully it will resonate with people as well. Because some people won't know you, right? They'll see some of your LinkedIn, or they'll see half your LinkedIn, and they'll have an opinion of you. So when I started speaking to you the other day, I said, "I'd love you to get on here and have a chat because actually." You're in it for the right reasons. You're doing the right things, and you're just a genuinely nice guy. I think it's important people to see it.
Thanks, man.
So
Appreciate
if
it.
anyone wants to get hold of you, say like especially on the lending side, that kind of thing, we get a lot of lenders on here. What's the best way to speak to you?
Obviously, you can drop me a line on LinkedIn, of course, and then read the post before you message me. Make sure you're happy with me first. But yeah, it's C Horton, which is my name, so C Horton at projectsurveyors.co.uk.
Great.
And just drop me a line. Or I'll always pass over my number, mate. I don't really mind. I get so many random calls
Yeah.
that I have loads of. I don't know if you do the thing where you save the number in your WhatsApp. I just save it as like random call one, just so I can see the
No, I have
picture
everyone's
of the
name. I've got
person.
OCD with my phone. Everyone's got to have their name and number in there. So name, title, and surname, or it's not going in.
Oh mate, I'd give you a heart attack, mate. If you look at
Random
my
guy
phone.
one,
It's
bloke in
terrible.
bar. Curly
I've
hair.
got 6 Matts. Matt.
I couldn't have it.
Right, man.
All right, thank you, Matt. I genuinely appreciate your time today. Thank you, everyone.
No worries, man.
Thank you, everyone watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify. It's been another episode of NRG Insights. But again, I appreciate your time, Colin. Cheers, mate.
No worries, mate. Bye bye.